Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. And today I'm going to show you guys and talk to you a little bit about my reaction to the cinematics that we saw that came in new to the game in the Battle for Lordaeron, the one including Jaina, the Throne Room cinematic. I'm very excited about it, man. I as you're going to see here in a second with the live stream footage, I was really happy with them. Now, when the reaction clips are over, there's just a couple of them. I have one for the Jaina coming in, the Horde Throne Room cutscene, and the Alliance Throne Room cutscene. I do mention a couple different things in either one, so you'll probably get something out of either of them. But at the end, I'm going to talk about my overall thoughts on the Battle for Lordaeron, pre-patch in general, and getting hyped and excited for BFA in 2 days. So enjoy the reactions, you guys, and I'll see you at the end of the video. This is fucking crazy. Guess I'll just heal. Cutscene! Ooh, this is new. This one's new. Okay. Dude, Gen's hauling ass.
The blight has broken our ranks.
Our assault has been for nothing.
Hope failed. Uh-oh.
What now?
Jaina.
Yo. Let's see it, girl. Oh, what? That was dope. That was cool.
Jaina, the wall!
Dude, what the fuck, Jaina?
We end this now.
Didn't Varian Rin say that at some point? Didn't Varian say that? Dude, she just single-handedly clutched it. What the fuck, dude? That was sick. This is NA only. Varian did say that?
Where did you go?
The ruins of Lordaeron.
So good of you to finally show up, High Overlord.
I had to see it for myself. Was this your plan all along? Is this how you meant to achieve victory? This honorless travesty?
Honor means nothing to a corpse, Sarfang. You have the luxury of underestimating.
Sarfang, little bitch.
But it is something
People are saying in
with
chat,
which
little
I
bitch.
am intimately familiar. Maybe you don't care if your people die so long as it's honorable, but to me, this horde is worth saving.
Atta girl.
Anyone who disagrees does not deserve to stand among us. So die your
For the
warrior's
Lord.
death, High Overlord Sarfang.
Shit!
Deliver it to me. Perhaps I will raise your broken body to serve me once more. Or perhaps you will have a chance to say hello to your son. Champions, with me, you are invited to bear witness to the grand finale.
Savage! Damn.
Stand aside, Sarfang. This war is not yours to bear alone, and there is no honor in killing you.
Your father was a man of honor, boy. You know I will never stand down. I eat, sleep, and die by the sword. What price have you paid for your people?
My father gave everything for the Alliance. The question is, are you willing to do the same for the Horde?
My life for the Horde!
All right. Dude, okay. You have some fucking raid mechanics.
Alliance, hold!
No. I demand an honorable death.
My father once said that Varrock Saurfang embodied the honor of the Horde. He admired you for that. And so do I. Listen to me. There is no honor in this.
That is not for an Alliance king to decide.
At this moment, it is. Take him to the stockades. When I return, we will speak of honor, and how it may yet be reclaimed.
If you return.
We've done it. Sylvanas will finally answer for her crimes. Champions,
I'm gonna
to
punch
my
a cat.
side.
What do you think, seeing Jaina roll up on the ship? Dude, that was sick. That was so sick. The bell. All right.
You abandoned Saurfang to die out there.
It is the death he wanted. If that troubles you, you're free to join him. Or you can tend to the living. The choice is yours.
For the Horde.
You know what must be done. Go, my champion. Look at you. The boy's playing soldier.
Our king just routed your army.
Muzzle your dog, your majesty.
She's so snarky, dude. I love it.
Sylvanas Windrunner,
I love her voice, dude.
you have led the Horde to a place without honor. Lordaeron is ours. It's over.
Your father would be so proud. Is that his? You've gotten it all bloody.
Only one of us wanted this war.
You call for peace when it suits you, little lion. But you're quick enough to kill.
I should have killed you when last we
Ooh.
met.
How rude, sister. You're a guest in my home.
Your home. You desecrate that throne with your filth! Enough!
Okay.
You put the torch to Teldrassil,
Ooh, Anduin.
but I failed those who burned.
Damn.
I will not make that mistake again. Surrender. Or die.
He shot Gen right the fuck up.
You've won nothing.
Dude, that was fucking dope! What the fuck? That was cool POV. It was a trap the whole damn time. Illyria looked up because she heard it. You can hear a sound. Dude, and then there's that. Lordaeron's fucked. Damn, dude. That was sick. So now that you've seen the actual video itself and seen how I reacted, yes, I did notice the Jaina moving her eyes and looking around. I just want to address that first of all, because I think that's one of the things that a lot of people want me to talk about. What does that mean? Well, as I alluded to in the live stream, Jaina warned the Horde, or warned the Alliance, that the Horde would do this, that this would happen. Jaina literally says, like, what will you do when they're burning a world tree? And that, I mean, that to me just seems indicative that Jaina is realizing, as Anduin says, you put the torch to Teldrassil. Jaina's like, oh my god, like, they actually did it. Like, it actually happened. Like, I warned them about this. I told them that this would happen. And Anduin has this whole thing going on of, you know, I've had this dream of peace on Azeroth, but that dream can never be fulfilled as long as Sylvanas is leading the Horde. Which is interesting because you have Jaina's contrasting cinematic where she says, my father once told me peace is like a dream. Beautiful, ephemeral, unattainable. I didn't listen, no one listened. Right? So Jaina seems to have this recognition that there's not going to be peace. Anduin wants peace, but he can't have that as long as Sylvanas is leading the Horde. So kind of an interesting situation. A couple things to note from this. It almost seems, I know that people are going to disagree with this, but it almost seems like Saurfang was like in on the plan. You know, as Anduin and us strike him down and we let him live, Saurfang basically says, if you survive, right? Like, Anduin's like, we'll talk about this later. Saurfang's like, if you live. So it almost seems like Saurfang knows about the plan. Either he obviously knew about it and was upset about it, as it was shown with Sylvanas, and intentionally strayed away from it because he thought that luring them into a trap and killing them with blight was dishonorable. Or he could literally have been in on it and he's now planted in the stockades as a prisoner of war for the Horde. So it's an interesting dynamic that they could go for there. I don't think that they will, given that they're kind of emphasizing Saurfang's belief in honor. At the same time, even when the Alliance King himself does not strike him down, Saurfang is saying that he knows nothing of honor. So kind of interesting. Another thing, the Alliance, this is really interesting to think about. Jaina saved the other Alliance leaders from death, but they would not have been in that situation had Jaina not arrived. What I mean by that is, when we blight the ground and we push everyone back to Brill as Horde, the Alliance are retreating, right? Anduin says our assault was for nothing. But the thing about it is that Jaina shows up. Jaina uses her frost spell, arcane magic, whatever, in order to, I assume, temporarily clear that blight, clear a path. People are saying that's kind of a plot hole. If Jaina can clear blight like that, why didn't they just do it again? I don't know. I think it's just the for the cinematic, you know what I mean? Maybe it's a temporary fix, I'm not really sure. But if Jaina didn't show up, the Alliance members wouldn't have even fallen into the trap. Sylvanas seems pretty sure, as she calls it the grand finale. It seems like Sylvanas had this all planned out. She knew it would happen. But the funny thing is that had Jaina not shown up, the Alliance leaders would have never been in the throne room, because they wouldn't have been able to get back into Lordaeron. So it's kind of interesting. Jaina had to be here in this situation for the Alliance leaders to even be put in that bad of a spot. But if she wasn't there, they would have died in that situation. That makes sense. It's kind of weird, right? Like, she put them in a situation where they could have died, but only she was the one that could save them from it. Now, there's also the question of, could Illyria just make void portals and just teleport them out of there? Yeah, I guess. Keep in mind, when Illyria pulled Turalyon through the void, it hurt really bad. Turalyon didn't really like it. That could be because of Turalyon's closer affiliation with the light. Anduin is obviously also very closely affiliated with the light. I don't know, maybe it's not a good idea to pull the Alliance King through a void portal. Maybe that's just a step beyond what would be acceptable. You know, it's a little bit sketchy, but that's just my thoughts on that. Overall, man, I think the Battle for Lordaeron made the pre-patch. I think we can all agree, as far as the burning of Teldrassil goes, that was really interesting, sparked a lot of debate, a lot of moral debate. But at the same time, the content in the War of Thorns was pretty shit. Like, let's not beat around the bush here and try to pretend like it was great content, right? Like, we're fighting against Furlbog models that are like 10 plus years old in new content. Like, they couldn't have at least updated the fucking furl bogs, you know what I mean? They couldn't have at least done that for, like, of all the new stuff that they've updated and all that, like, they couldn't update furl bogs. Anyway, maybe that's nitpicking. That part of the pre-patch I don't think was very good. Obviously, we got surprised with that Sourfang cinematic. Amazing cinematic. If you guys haven't seen my reaction to that, you should definitely check it out. There's a link in the description below. Amazing cinematic. And then I was pretty pleased with the battle for Lordaeron. I felt like we were really taking part in a battle. Like, it felt like on either side, like, you're assaulting, you're defending. It felt very, like, actual battle-esque. I don't know, I was very happy with it. I'll say on both sides. I mean, people are going to want me to talk about this. Do I think, like, the Alliance and Horde are in the wrong or in the right, or who's in the wrong, who's in the right? I mean, no one's hands are really clean in this situation, and that's kind of what Sylvanas is pointing out to Anduin. You know, you call for peace when it suits you, but you're just as quick to draw your blades as we are, so what makes it different for the bloodshed? Obviously, people are going to say the difference is that you lit a tree on fire that had a bunch of innocents in it, but the interesting thing is that when you read into the novellas and you read about what happened in Teldrassil, you come to realize that the elves, under the light of Lady Elune, felt no pain, and they eventually slipped into a slumber. And yes, it equates dying to dreaming. That could be because the Night Elven Wisps are connected to the dream via the World Tree in some capacity. I'm not exactly sure. But, you know, I hate to say it, as horrific as it was, a lot of them did go peacefully, thanks to Elune. So that makes that a little bit more bearable for me. You know, that they didn't suffer quite as one would imagine. The fire would consume their flesh and their bones, but eventually, under the light of their lady, they went peacefully. So, another thing, Sylvanas is way too fucking smart. I'm just saying, man, Sylvanas is way too damn smart. What I mean by that is, she gave Nathanos her bow, okay? Nathanos has a bow already. I'm gonna just throw that out there. It's not like the guy walks around with a quiver but no bow. But she takes her bow and gives it to him. Says, you need to know, you know it must be done. And he leaves. Now, a lot of people see this as, oh, she gave him the bow so that he could shoot the trap. Maybe, yeah. I mean, whether her whether her bow is special and needed to be used to do that, I don't know. I don't see why it would. But there's another thing to this, is that the Alliance plays on honor, and she knows that. And she knows that they're not going to strike down an unarmed combatant, right? Anduin even goes in there and says, surrender or die. So she's obviously not going to surrender. But they're not going to strike her down completely unarmed. That's why she literally stands up and walks across the room and stands face to fucking face with the High King of the Alliance. And basically says, for lack of a better phrasing, you didn't do shit. You didn't win a fucking thing today, Anduin Wrynn. You didn't do anything. And that's one, such balls to do that. Two, so snarky. And like I said in the stream, I love it, dude. I love that she's just not, she just doesn't give a fuck. Like, I love that about her character, because I feel like a lot of characters are very like sunshine and rainbow, like we'll do it the soft way, you know what I mean? And I really just like that Sylvanas doesn't take that path, man. I think it's much more interesting. A question that I have about this though is, Sylvanas is talking about through the War of Thorns and throughout her plan, she speaks about her plans and everything that's happening almost as if she's like clairvoyant about it. Sylvanas is like incredibly calculated and strategic in everything that she does. But man, part of me's gotta wonder if she has like seen her own final death. Like if she knows how she will actually die. There's been characters in the past, Kilrog Deadeye is one that comes to mind, who have been shown how they will die. Nosdormu's another one. And they've taken steps to prevent it, or, in Kilrog's case, know exactly when he was meant to go. Now, we still question whatever Sylvanas' deal was with Helya. We don't know exactly what that was. Could it be that Helya showed Sylvanas how she ultimately will die? Or how, you know, maybe there's a plan going on there where Sylvanas is free of worry in all of these situations because she's like, well, I have I have Helya on my side still. Now the question is, I mean, we went in and killed Helya on the behest of Odin, but is Helya really dead? I mean, if you can use Valkyr to basically revive someone like Sylvanas, who's a Banshee, or anyone else really that you want to use it on, why are we so like quick to believe that the queen of the Valkyr, the one who literally can create them, isn't capable of also being resurrected or anything in that capacity, right? Like, I think that's really likely. And given that Helya's bottom half is a bunch of tentacles, there is the idea that Helheim is connected to the Abyssal Maw, is connected to wherever Ashara is or whatever Ashara is doing. So it wouldn't completely blow my mind if Helya had some type of involvement with Queen Ashara as well. I don't think that's far-fetched to think. But yeah, there's a lot more going on in this situation, I think, than what we're seeing. So Sylvanas is really fucking smart, and there's some people that think that maybe she's testing Anduin, building him up to become something stronger so that in the future they can be successful. And that's kind of propagated by this quote from the Battle for Lordaeron cinematic, where she says, ours is a cycle of hatred, alliances forged and broken. We have paid the price for sharing this world, and we have forgotten what makes us strong. Well, what is it that makes you strong, right? There's two different answers people kind of go for, and one is uniting together. Yes, but sometimes when you unite against the greater enemy, you become vulnerable. If you're not aware of that greater enemy, the Void Lords or the Old Gods or whatever you want it to be, if you're not aware of that threat, then sometimes being one can be a very bad thing. Maybe that's even the light. Think about what's happening on Alternate Draenor after we took out the Legion there. Now the light is swelling across Alternate Draenor in the form of these Lightbound or whatever the fuck you want to call them. They're basically Lightforged being forced into it by Naru. Like, let's just not beat around the bush. That's what it is, right? That wouldn't have happened if there was still fighting and war on Draenor. So with that being said, you have to wonder, is Sylvanas doing this strategically in order to actually, in the end, build up the strength of the Horde and the Alliance? I don't really know. Does decimating a city full of people build the strength of the Alliance in the long run? I don't know. I'm not Sylvanas. I don't really know what's going on in her head, but I like to think anyway that there's more depth to this that we have yet to understand, right? There's also the very clear and obvious cinematic parallels that they're drawing between Anduin and Arthas as well. I'm sure most of you have probably seen by now the GIF images of Arthas from the Warcraft 3 cinematic walking into the throne room of Lordaeron. It's literally exactly like Anduin in the new cinematic, even from the same angles and the same shot and everything. They're very clearly drawing parallels. So people are saying, like, will Anduin become the next Lich King? This and that. I really don't think so. I think Anduin, if Anduin goes that route, it's gonna probably be something worse, man. And Anduin is very closely attuned with the light, and when the light dies, a lot of times you get void, and we all are kind of anticipating this void X pack at some point. It would not blow me away if something happens with Anduin that does involve the void. You know, I don't really have any other great guesses. I mean, there's also the idea that maybe Anduin takes an interest in Talia, Bolvar Fordragon's daughter, and that would be interesting because if that were to happen, this would be weird, man. There's some speculation that Kalia Menethil, her daughter or her child, is the child also of Bolvar Fordragon, and that they were actually a couple. If that's possible, which I think it is, then their daughter could be Talia, obviously. At that point, if Anduin had an interest in Talia, which we have no evidence of yet, but if that did happen, and Anduin married her, then Anduin would become future heir to Lordaeron, or actually, would he just be king of Lordaeron as well? Like, how would that even work? Would he just take and then if Bolvar died, would he be then the next to become the Lich King, like, in lineage? I don't know. It's like a weird situation. There's also, if he took an interest in Kalia, but she's much, much older than Anduin, about twice the age of Anduin, so I don't really see that happening. But the other thing could be interesting. I mean, if that were the case, even if Bolvar's daughter wasn't also Kalia Menethil's daughter, it could be interesting because you could still have a weird Lich King parallel there. You know, maybe he's destined to assume the throne once the current Lich King is defeated. We'll just have to see, man. I don't really know. I do think that Bolvar 4-Dragon's flame form is really important, and I do think that thematically it lines up with some of the other stuff I've been talking about. If you guys haven't seen, I do have a video on Bolvar 4-Dragon as well. Just type in Pyro Lich King, and it'll definitely be the #1 video that comes up on YouTube. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, man. I think that they are drawing these parallels on purpose, but I can't really put my finger on why. I really don't think that they're gonna just do another simple Lich King story. I feel like that's what they want you to think, and that's kind of what they want you to be looking at, but then something's gonna be different. Because there's no way they're just gonna flat out replicate it from what they did before, so I'm not really sure about that one. I honestly also kind of think that the Boy King's second lie is in this cinematic when he says, "Only one of us wanted this war." Sylvanas does make a good point by saying that Anduin kind of just calls for peace when it best suits him, and then obviously in retaliation he's willing to fight and then try to call for peace again at the end. She's kind of calling him out on that, like, make up your mind, like, what do you want, what are you gonna do? But the thing about it is, I do think that the first lie was in the first cinematic at the speech in Stormwind when he says, "We did the impossible, we defeated the Burning Legion." I know not a lot of people are gonna agree with that, and not a lot of people want the Legion to come back, but I think we just have to recognize how, like, essential they are to the Warcraft storyline. And I know that they've been very, like, relevant in the past and very kind of in your face with the Legion, and especially after we just got out of Legion. I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this, but I really do think that the Legion is still essential to the storyline. I don't think they're completely defeated. I'm of the opinion, and I even said this to Noble, that until Sargeras is defeated himself, and until he is dead, until he's literally dead, he's not going to give up on the crusade. So we'll have to see, man. And I don't think he's dead. I really don't. Obviously, with what's happening at the Seat of the Pantheon, we're still discovering more things out about the Titans in BFA. So that should show you, like, the Titans must still be relevant then. Otherwise, we wouldn't be learning more about them. So their storyline's not over, and they definitely will be coming back, in my opinion. I think there are several options. I think there's different ways this can go. And I hate to say it, man, but I think this is some of the best storytelling they've ever had. Pre-expansion launch, this is some of the best storytelling. I mean, we've had so many cinematics, and I think we're going to get more, and I think we're going to get a lot more in BFA. I think it's something to be really excited about, man, and I hope that the hype is there for you guys, because it's definitely there for me. We'll see how it goes. Leave a like on the video if you liked the video. If you have a comment or something you want to share about it, your thoughts about it, then feel free to throw that in the comments down below. Subscribe for more content. I appreciate you very much. Stay awesome. Check out my Twitch. Check out my Twitch. Seriously, check out my fucking Twitch. For real. Click on the link in the description. Go right now. Check out the Twitch. Alright? Alright. Sounds good. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!